internet friends, I'm Ryan. This is Demos in the Dark. Sit back, relax. We're going to talk about a truly unique pedal. I mean, I'm not kidding. This thing is very different, which means some of you are going to love it, and that's great, and some of you are not going to like it at all, and that's okay too. That is the cost of doing business when you're doing something purely original. This is the Prismatic Wall from Electronic Audio Experiments. Now, the Prismatic Wall is a sympathetic resonator designed to transmute incoming sounds into the vibrations of an illusionary bank of tuned strings. In my mind, what it is it's a resonator type pedal. If you've ever moved a piano or even bumped a piano, you know that there is this reverberation sound when you hit it. And that, in essence, to me, is what this pedal is doing. Now, this is a pedal that I think you're going to want to use responsibly because I think it can get overwhelming very quickly. But I'm going to throw it down here on the track where I used it far more liberally than I think I typically would. I'm going to use it on guitar stuff, obviously. I'm going to use it on all of the keys tracks. And then there's going to be one section where I'm actually going to run a drum loop through there, and you'll be able to hear how that sounds. And then come on back here and I will do my best to unpack the Prismatic Wall for you. Thanks for sticking around. If you are also a studio nerd who hangs out in a dark studio, please subscribe. Don't be a stranger. Comment below. I'd love to hear what you have to think, especially when it comes to something as cool as this. All right, so tonight I'm going to be using a Walsh Guitars Yada. I'm plugged into a Silktone amp. Silktone amp sounds like this. So we got a lot of controls on here. We are going to start by focusing on the tune control. John says that is the heart of the pedal. Changes the pitch of the entire resonance bank across 4 octaves. So let's hear what that does. right, so next control we have here is the mix, and it's what it is. It's a mix. Here we go. All right, so then we have the drive, and the drive is not kind of what you're thinking. What it does is it drives the resonators. So the more drive you have, the more effect you're gonna have, or the more, it's gonna hit those resonators harder. All right, and then we have the damping control, and this basically controls the sustain for high frequencies. So if you turn it up, it's gonna get pretty metallic. If you turn it down, it's gonna get a bit more woody. And then we have the decay knob, which is the sustain for all frequencies. We have the LFO, which is some pitch bending effects, and we have a rate, an amount, so speed and depth. You'll see just below that, we have been in a sine wave. There's also a random. I think we're going to skip over to the modes here. We have been in the single mode, which is a single fundamental note with additional overtone sounds. Then we have the stacked neutral thirds. So that's cool. It's like slightly atonal. Really kind of adds some depth to your sound. And then we have the stacked fifths. We have the chromatic. About this is you can hold down this mode button here and that will take you an octave up. So I'm going to talk a little bit about functionality here, not a ton, but just a little bit. So the aux function is pretty important. So you can use this in one of two ways. You can either use it to kind of morph up to a second setting that you have dialed in, and which I've done here. So that's very useful. It's very easy to set. You just hit Alt and then you dial in a sound, then you hit Alt again, dial in another sound, and then you're instantly jumping between the two of them. Other thing that you can do with the aux is morph to a preset that you have set. So we have 3 presets here, and you can basically just go up to one of those. It can be completely different rather than kind of doing something on the fly like we just did there. And then there are some alt functions there where you can go in and you can manipulate a bunch of stuff. You can change the tuning to be in semitones, so that makes it a little bit easier to find a note. You can change the LFO shape. You can change the rate of the rise and fall of the morphing. There's all kinds of cool stuff that you can do. If you're interested in diving into that, Electronic Audio Experiments has put up a really, really great technical demo on this. And John goes through all of the alt functions and advanced features there. So you have this is a very brief look at the Electronic Audio Experiments Prismatic Wall. Very cool pedal, very different, just a very different thing. And I like it. I like it a lot. It has some very, very cool sounds in there that you really can't find anywhere else. And so it's great for that. But also, like I said at the top of the show, you would really want to kind of use this in a very responsible way because it can just very quickly become a big like wall of sound and your parts can end up being indistinguishable. But you know, also if that's what you're going for, then sweet. So thanks, John, for sending this over for me to check out. And as always, thank you for the privilege of your time.